The Mysterious Old Radio Listening Society podcast.
Welcome to the Mysterious Old Radio Listening Society, a podcast dedicated to suspense, crime, and horror stories from the golden age of radio. I'm Eric.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Joshua.
We love mysterious old-time radio stories, but do they stand the test of time? That's what we're here to find out.
This week, we kick off a month-long Halloween series called Monsters on the Air. Our first creature of the season is the werewolf, as depicted in a production of my choosing, Death Prowls by Night from The Shadow.
The Shadow premiered on the Mutual Broadcasting Network September 26, 1937, starring Orson Welles as the Shadow and Agnes Moorehead as Margo Lane. When Welles left the role in 1938, he was replaced by veteran radio actor Bill Johnstone. In contrast to Welles' brooding intensity, Johnstone brought maturity and a sense of authority to the voice of the Shadow, while at the same time revealing a lighter side to Lamont Cranston, particularly in his interactions with Margo. Despite the comical asides, Johnstone's era of the program retained much of the dark pulpiness of Welles' tenure, as evidenced in today's episode.
Martin Grams Jr., in his book The Shadow, The History and Mystery of the Program, observes that Death Prowls by Night is the first of several depictions and or mentions of Lamont and Margo enjoying a ski holiday. The couple's next ski adventure is in The Witch of the Crescent Moon from 1947. In this story, Lamont tells a hotel clerk he's teaching Margo to ski when I don't lose her in the snowdrifts. Grams, being the good and studious nerd he is, points out that 6 years earlier in Death Prowls by Night, there's no mention of Margo's inability to ski. Continuity error? Or did Lamont cloud Margo's mind so she forgot how to ski? Only the Shadow knows.
And now, let's listen to Death Prowls by Night from The Shadow, starring Bill Johnstone and Marjorie Anderson, first broadcast March 23rd, 1941.
It's late at night, and a chill has set in. You're alone, and the only light you see is coming from an antique radio. Listen to the sounds coming from your speakers. Listen to the music, and listen to the voices.
Character who aids the forces of law and order is in reality Lamont Cranston, wealthy young man about town. As the Shadow, Cranston is gifted with hypnotic power to cloud men's minds so that they cannot see. Cranston's friend and companion, the lovely Margo Lane, is the only person who knows to whom the voice of the invisible Shadow belongs. Today's drama, Death Prowls at Night. High on the snow-covered Adirondack Mountains, in a tiny trapper's cabin, two men lie sleeping, quietly sleeping. Suddenly, the mournful howling of frightened dogs shatters the stillness of the night. One of the men, alarmed, rises quickly from his bunk and calls out to his partner.
Pierre! Pierre!
What?
Wake up, Pierre.
What is it?
The dog. Something is frightening the dog.
What can it be?
I don't know. I'm going out to see.
Do you wish to take my gun?
No, I won't need it.
All right. I shall put on my boots.
What is wrong with your dog?
I will come out and join you in a moment.
Why are you howling?
Can you see anything, Philip?
No, that does not seem to be.
Philip! Philip, what is wrong? I'm coming, Philip.
Yeah! It's a wolf! A giant wolf!
The criminal is killing him.
Save yourself, Pierre! Save yourself!
I must get the gun. The animal is turning on me. I must get the gun. If I can make the cabin, I will...
we've stayed in the village tonight.
You mean on account of the snow?
No, it's just that I don't like riding through these woods like this.
Why, we've done it hundreds of times, Anna.
I know, but it's different now.
Oh, now you've been listening to that wolf story, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Well, now that's a lot of nonsense.
No, it isn't, John. Too many people have seen him. And what about the bodies they found? Bodies just torn to pieces by a savage beast.
Now, Anna, we'll be home any minute now, and you'll be...
Listen. What's that?
Why, just dogs howling, that's all.
Those dogs are frightened. I can tell by the sound.
Now, Anna, stop imagining things. You get there, boy.
That howling is coming from somewhere behind us. All I can see is dark woods. John!
Anna, what is it?
The wolf. He's running behind us, following the trail. It's the wolf.
Great heavens. Keep that boy. Keep that.
Faster. He's gaining on us.
Well, we're going as fast as we can.
He's right behind us now.
Here, take the reins, Anna. I'll deal with him.
It's too late, John. He's right beside us. He's going to leave.
Margo, look at that moon.
Yes. Oh, it's so bright, Lamont, we could almost go skiing again tonight after dinner.
We could at that. How about it, Joe? You've been a guide around here for a long time. Do people ever do any moonlight skiing?
Well, they haven't in the past, Mr. Cranston, but, well, I wouldn't advise it tonight.
Well, why not, Joe?
Well, it wouldn't be safe.
Oh, you mean this wolf scare that's going around?
Yeah.
Joe, I'm surprised at you. I've never heard of a man who's lived in the woods all his life being frightened by any animal.
I'm not frightened by any animal.
Just a moment. What do you mean, Joe?
This beast is not an animal.
You mean a human is responsible for all these killings?
A human mind is a human mind in the body of a savage wolf.
I don't understand, Joe.
Have either of you ever heard of a werewolf?
Yes, I've read about them. Werewolf is a man who possesses the power to transform himself into a savage beast.
That's right.
I believe that the legends about them have all come from Central Europe.
I don't think they are legends, Mr. Cranston. I believe they are fact. You see, I was brought up in Central Europe.
Oh, now, Joe, you're not asking us to believe that we have a werewolf here in the Adirondacks.
Well, you can believe what you wish, but I know what has been going on. I myself have seen the animal. Its cunning behavior, its ability to appear and disappear at will, its method of killing. There is a werewolf here. I'm sure of it.
Well, I can't argue with you, Joe. Here's your cabin, Margo.
Yes. All right, I'll meet you at the lodge, Lamont, as soon as I'm dressed.
Righto. See you later.
All right. And I'll keep an eye out for the wolf, Joe. Good old Joe. He's certainly... Good evening, Miss Lane. Oh, you surprised me, Marie.
Sorry, mademoiselle.
Would you draw a tub for me, please?
Oui, mademoiselle, I have already done so.
Oh, good.
I trust that you enjoyed your skiing today.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Will you be wearing this blue dress, mademoiselle?
Yes, that'll be all right. Marie, do you hear those dogs howling?
Oui, mademoiselle.
Eerie sound, isn't it?
They often howl like that at night up here, mademoiselle. I would not worry about it if I were you.
Oh, they don't bother me. I was just... Oh, there's someone at the door. Will you see who it is, Marie, please?
Good evening.
Oh, good evening, doctor.
Who is it, Marie?
It is Dr. Marcel, mademoiselle. He often comes here to the lodge.
Oh, does he want to see me?
Yes, if I may.
Oh, then will you come in?
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
You're Miss Lane, I believe?
That's right, Doctor.
I saw you out skiing today. I wondered if you'd sustained any cuts or bruises that might need attention.
No, I seem to have come through without a scratch, thank you.
Oh, that's fine. Fine. Up here for a rest, are you?
Why, yes, sort of.
Been tired, have you?
Well, more in need of a change, I'd say.
I see. Then you should not be indulging in such violent exercise as skiing. You should be resting, relaxing.
I suppose you're right.
This is a personal question, I know, Miss Lane. But have you had any medical attention lately?
Have I had any... Oh, no. Not in the past 6 months.
I see.
Why do you ask, Doctor?
Young lady, you are in a very highly nervous state. I make this statement freely because I specialize in such work. I suppose I should not have told you this.
No. No, I'm
Glad you did.
Your eyes have a strange look. They are weary. Very weary. Is that not so?
Yes. Yes.
Sit down, Miss Lane, please.
Sit down?
Yes. No. This chair, please. Yes. That's it. Now just relax. Now, think only of peace. Look at me, Miss Lane. Look at me. Do you feel better now?
Yes. Yes.
I should say, Miss Lane, that you are very badly in need of constant medical care for the next few days. Don't you agree with that, Marie?
Oui, doctor. I do.
I have a small sanitarium nearby, Miss Lane. An excellent place for you to rest. I suggest that you spend a few days there.
Whatever you say, doctor.
Fine. Pack some of Miss Lane's clothes immediately, Marie. We are leaving for the sanitarium at 1. I haven't seen her since this morning. State police, attention. State police, attention. Be on the lookout for young woman missing since 6 o'clock this evening. She is 5 feet, 5 inches tall. Weight 118.
Without any word.
Yes, I know. Looks bad. Oh, excuse me. Yes? Huh? What? Oh, send him right in. Well.
What is it?
A man outside who claims to have seen someone just an hour ago who resembled the missing girl.
Where? Where did he see her?
Well, I don't know yet.
Send for me, Sarge.
Oh, it's you, Jennifer. Come in.
Yes, sir.
This fellow's a local farmer.
Where did you see the girl?
Right near my house. Seen her. Just an hour ago.
Where is she now?
I don't know.
Good heavens, man. Don't you realize that half the police in the state were looking for her?
Sure, but I didn't have no chance to get near her.
What are you talking about?
It won't do any good, Mr. Cranston, to rush this guy. Tell us what happened, Jennifer.
Well, I was home, like I said. All of a sudden, my dog started howling. He was yelling so bad, I got the idea maybe there was someone prowling around the livestock.
So you went out to investigate?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, first I looked around. Couldn't see nothing. And all at once I spotted somebody down in the lower field. It was a girl.
Young, tall brunette?
I don't know whether she was a brunette or not. She's wearing a white ski suit.
Well, that was Margo, all right.
Running through the field in the moonlight. Running real fast, she was. And at her side was what appeared to be a giant gray dog, like.
Did you call out to her?
Didn't have no chance. Before I could even say anything, she disappeared over the side of the hill.
Sergeant, there's no time to lose. We must go to this man's farmhouse at once.
I'll take a squad up the other side of the hill, Mr. Cranston. We can all meet back here at the farm.
All right, Sergeant.
All right, come along, men. Come on over this way here.
Mr. Jennifer.
Huh? Yeah?
When you first saw the girl, which direction was she coming from?
Back yonder.
Are there any other farms back there?
Not for a good many miles.
Oh, I see.
In fact, outside of Dr. Van Dane's sanitarium, there ain't another place in that direction.
Dr. Van Dane's sanitarium?
Huh?
Where's that?
About a mile up the road.
In the same direction?
Yeah.
Who is Dr. Van Dane?
You must have seen him around the lodge. He's up there quite a bit.
Oh, I see. That's very interesting. Could you lead me to the sanitarium of his?
Sure. When would you want to go?
Right now, Mr. Jennifer. Right now.
Now, there's the sanitarium right ahead, Mr. Cranston.
you don't mind, I won't go no further with you. The doctor don't like visitors much.
All right, Jennifer. I'm grateful to you for your help.
That's all right. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Oh, Miss Cranston.
Yes?
Be careful.
Yes. Excellent advice, Mr. Jennifer. Excellent advice.
Yes?
I'd like to say, aren't you Marie, Miss Lane's maid?
Oui, monsieur.
Well, where is she? Where is Margo?
I do not know.
Don't lie to me. Where is Miss Lane?
Is that you, Lamont?
Margo! Hey, let me in.
Please, monsieur,
Margo!
let me out.
Margo, where are you?
Right in here, Lamont.
Oh, darling. Darling, you're all right. You're all right.
Of course I am. Why are you so upset?
Why am I upset? With half the countryside searching for you, not knowing if you're alive or dead?
You had searching parties out for me?
But of course.
That was silly of you.
Silly of me.
Yes.
Margo, don't you understand? I was alarmed about you, why you had disappeared and where. Tell me, what are you doing in this place?
I've come here for a rest, that's all.
A rest?
Yes. Yes, is there anything wrong in that?
Well, no,
Well, then
but...
stop behaving like a schoolboy.
Margo.
Leave me alone, will you?
Margo, just tell me this. Why did you leave the lodge as you did without telling me where you were going?
I didn't think it's necessary to tell you.
Well, how did you meet Dr. Van Dane?
He came to my cabin at the lodge.
You'd never seen him before?
No,
Well, how did you know it was safe to come here to this place?
because I trusted him. He's a very fine old gentleman.
Oh. Well, where is he now?
I don't know.
Margo, you were seen several hours ago running through the nearby fields. Why were you out like that in the dead of night? Answer me, Margo.
Lamont, will you please leave me alone? I refuse to answer any more of your stupid questions.
Very well. Then I shall seek my information elsewhere. I'm going to investigate the other people who live within these walls. I shall visit them as the Shadow.
Only I could get to sleep.
Sorry to disturb your slumber, Marie.
Oh, who is there?
Don't be alarmed, Marie. I've chosen to make myself invisible to your eyes.
Oh, who are you?
I am called the Shadow.
What are you doing here? Why have you come to see me?
I am seeking information from you, Marie. Information about Dr. Van Dyne.
What about him?
Where is he now, do you know?
No, he has gone out.
At this time of night? Where did he go?
I do not know.
Don't you think it odd that he should choose this hour to be out in this mountain wilderness?
I do not question the doctor's habits.
You came here last night with Miss Lane, did you not?
Oui, monsieur.
Why? Why was she brought here? How did he persuade her to come?
He did not persuade her. She came of her own free will.
You've known Dr. Van Dane before, haven't you? Answer my question.
Oui, monsieur.
For how long? How long have you known him?
What difference does that make?
It makes a great deal of difference. I suspect very strongly, Marie, that you aided him in bringing Miss Lane here.
She came here willingly, I tell you. She needed a rest.
Are you trying to make me believe that she chose to come to a sanitarium where she is the only patient? I've just determined that fact by searching the building.
I know nothing about that.
But you do know something about Dr. Van Dane. More than you're willing to tell me.
No.
Well, I shall continue to question you until you do.
No. No, leave me alone.
Where did he come from? What is his background, his place of birth?
He was born in Europe. That is all I know.
In Central Europe?
Oui, I believe so.
That's most revealing. Does Dr. Van Dane often indulge in nocturnal prowling?
I do not know.
You do know, but you're afraid to tell me.
Oh, please, please, monsieur. Do not ask me any more questions.
How does Dr. Van Dane feel about dogs? Does he have any around the house?
No, he hates dogs.
Then how do you account for the fact that Miss Lane was seen several hours ago running through the fields with what appeared to be a giant beast?
I do not know what you are talking
Yes,
about.
you do. You also realize the significance of the appearance of Miss Lane with that huge dog-like animal, don't you?
No,
You
no.
suspect just as I suspect. What's this mean? But the thought is too horrible for you to voice, isn't it?
Stop torturing me.
You're being very foolish, Marie. By your very silence, you're bringing about your doom.
What do you mean, monsieur?
Don't you see what is happening? place is being taken. Already you've been supplanted by Miss Lane.
No, monsieur.
When Dr. Van Dane has no further use for you, you know what that can mean, don't you?
Yes.
Then you must do something about it. You must act quickly.
What is that to do?
I am getting that young woman out of here at once. Meantime, you can call the police. If you tell them everything you know about Dr. Van Dane, there is still a chance for your salvation.
But that is my only chance.
Your only chance. But you must do this at once.
Well, Lamont, did you succeed in getting the information you wanted?
I did talk to Marie.
Are you satisfied now that this is a perfectly safe place for me to be?
Quite the contrary, Margo. I'm taking you out of here at once.
Lamont, what are you saying?
I've found out something about Dr. Van Dane. If it's true as I think it is, your life is in danger every moment that you're here.
Oh, Lamont, you can be so melodramatic.
Margo, I'm giving you cold, hard facts. Do you remember the conversation that we had with Joe, our guide, about the people who'd been killed by a giant wolf?
Yes.
Do you remember his believing that the animal was really a human being?
Oh, you mean that werewolf story?
Yes.
Oh. Lamont, are you trying to tell me that there may be something to that story?
Yes, perhaps.
Oh, that's fantastic. You're just making up a story in order to get me out.
I'm not making up a story, Margo.
Oh, no.
What's the matter, Margo? You're trembling.
Those dogs. Why don't they stop their howling?
Margo, why should their howling bother you?
I don't know. I just hate the sound of dogs, that's all. Why don't they stop?
Margo, I don't know what's happened to you, but this thing is part of it.
What are you talking about?
This fear of dogs.
Oh, the dogs, no.
You've never felt that way before. Then your irritation at my being here, and your nervous behavior, the way you're pacing the room right now.
I've got to get out. I've got to get out.
I'm taking you out, Margo.
Oh, no. Now I'm so alone.
Margo, listen to me. We're leaving here together.
Oh, no, we're not. You have no right to tell me what to do.
I'm sorry, Margo. You're coming with me. Even if I had to carry you out
You
here.
dare lay a hand on me, Oh, I'm sorry, Lamont. I lost my head, I guess. I didn't know what I was doing. Of course I'll come with you. Come right now.
Oh, that's better. Thank you, Margo.
Will you get my coat, please, in that closet?
Well, surely. I don't see them in here, Margo. Are you sure they're in here? Margo! Margo, let me out of here.
Next time you'll know enough to let me have my way.
Margo!
Goodbye, Lamont.
Margo!
Oh. I must find the doctor. I must let him know that I'm free.
Looking for me, Miss Lane?
Oh, I'm so glad that you're here, Dr. Van Dane. I was worried about you.
Really?
Yes, I heard the howling of dogs. I was afraid that you might have been in trouble.
You need never fear for me. I am too clever for them. Much too clever.
Doctor, you seem upset. What's wrong?
I just had the most unfortunate experience. Someone I trusted proved herself disloyal.
Marie?
Yes. She was about to telephone the police. About to betray me.
I see. She will never make the call?
Never. But come. We have things to do, young lady. The night is short. Time is precious. Come. You have a mission to perform. Tell me, did you enjoy the sense of freedom that you found earlier this evening? Running through the open fields?
Oh, yes. Yes, I did.
I am pleased. You are progressing rapidly.
I shall always follow your instructions.
Excellent. You are most obedient. Come now. We are setting forth on our first great adventure. The supreme adventure. Before the night is over, you shall have learned to kill.
I am ready.
Very well. Come with me. Who is that?
One moment, Dr. Van Dane.
The shadow.
Who spoke? I see no one.
The young lady knows who I am, Doctor.
Yes. Yes, it is the shadow.
Young woman, do you know this unseen voice?
Yes.
Why is he here? How did he find us?
I can answer that for you, Dr. Van Dane. I am here to save this young woman from your evil power.
I do not know what you're talking
I
about.
don't wish to be saved. Leave me alone.
I am aware of what you've done to this girl, Doctor. You've influenced mind, robbed her of the power to think for herself. By some form of hypnosis, you've gained control of her every thought.
That's not true.
You hear that, Shadow? She herself denies this.
She denies it because you've willed her to do so. But I'm going to break this hold you have on her.
No.
I, too, possess the secret of hypnosis. And I believe that my power is greater than yours, Doctor. Just as the power of good is always greater than the power of evil.
Leave me alone. Make him leave me alone.
I am warning you, Shadow. Do not meddle in my affairs.
You can't frighten me. Not when I know as much about you as I do.
What? What do you know about me?
That you are the one who is responsible for the savage, brutal killings in this neighborhood. That you have committed these crimes in the guise of a wolf.
You mean I've transformed myself into an animal?
Exactly.
That is preposterous. You are going back to medieval superstition, to the legend of the werewolf.
It's possible you might possess that power, Doctor.
How dare you say such a thing?
Margo, listen to me.
No.
I am using all the power that I possess to reach into your mind. Feel it. Feel that power.
No.
Let my thoughts link with yours. Let them join together and drive out all evil.
Remain calm, young lady. Do not listen to his lies.
I'm trying, Doctor. I'm trying.
Concentrate on one thing and one thing only, Margo. The thought that I'm sending to you. Grasp it. Hold it in your mind.
Drive it from your mind, young lady.
Please, both of you. I can't think.
It will come true, Margo. The thought will come true.
Those dogs. Where are those dogs?
They are looking for you, Doctor.
Those dogs?
They belong to the police.
Huh?
That frightens you, doesn't it? You are not able to concentrate now.
Please, Doctor.
The way is clear now, Margo. You can receive my thoughts alone. You're coming back to me. You're coming back to me.
Yes. Lamont.
There, Dr. Van Dane. Your spell is broken now.
Oh, they're coming nearer.
Yes, so the police will be here.
Get away. They will never get me.
You're staying here.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Come back here, Dr. Van Dane.
They'll never get me.
You say I was in his power, Lamont, for all that time?
Yes, Margot.
Then we must find him. We must. What was that?
I don't know. The sound came from the trees here. Come on, Margot.
Oh, is that you, Kelly?
No, it's me, Officer Lamont Cranston.
Oh, Mr. Cranston. Say, you found the girl.
Yes.
Good work.
What were those shots? What were you firing at?
Why, this big fella here.
Lamont, it's a wolf. A huge gray wolf.
Yes. Is he dead, officer?
Yes, sir. Plenty dead. Well, I guess that's the end of the wolf that's been killing people around here.
Yes. The end of the wolf. And it may also be the end of Dr. Van Dane.
That was Death Prowls by Night from The Shadow here on the Mysterious Old Radio Listening Society podcast. Once again, I'm Eric.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Joshua.
I want to start with a quick thing here before we delve into picking Joshua's brain about his selection. In the opening, the revelation that, there are continuity errors in The Shadow about skiing and if Margo knows how to ski or not. It made me laugh because continuity errors, say, with Star Trek.
There's probably some literary sociological arc you can say of it. If something lasts a certain amount of time, it will have continuity errors.
Well, yeah. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a Star Trek writer and poring over every single detail that you know you're going to get busted on something. But I think it's hilarious because I don't think there's any fan of The Shadow that has any sense of canon or continuity in the arc and could care less, which is the way all of this fiction should be.
There was no expectation of continuity.
No.
You would have had to remember it
Right.
from 7 years
That's
ago.
right. Technically, Margo knew how to ski 6 years ago, and now she doesn't.
And
Anyway.
in all fairness to Martin Grimes, he mentioned it tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
He was not
I know.
having a case of nerd outrage.
So before we delve even further into this, Joshua, we have established in this podcast that we are all big fans of The Shadow. We were dragged into it early on by Joshua, who grew up with it, the biggest fan of all of us of the show. And then Tim and I...
Subscriber to Shadow Aficionado magazine.
Right. And then I had listened to some and I liked it. And then Tim was introduced to it here. And now we all love it a lot. So why this one? Well, obviously werewolves.
Yes. Well, two things with The Shadow is, as much as I love The Shadow is somewhat repetitious in structure. So when I bring a when I want to bring a shadow to the podcast, I'm always looking for something that breaks the formula in some way, or is extra outrageous, or has some other narrative or character-based significance to it. And in this case, I was shocked and delighted that it was a shadow featuring a werewolf in which they didn't do the Scooby-Doo move,
right,
and reveal it was really Old Man Johnson.
So wolf disguised as a guy.
Yes. It was an actual werewolf. And so that was what jumped out at me. It's a rarity in The Shadow to have anything supernatural be proven true. I mean, there's a little wiggle room here, but I think very little.
It struck me how similar it was to Hound of the Baskervilles, that you're waiting for Sherlock to solve away all of the supernatural part of that story, only to find out, oh, no, there is a hound. It is a horrible creature. The mystery is this guy's controlling it and training it. But you wait when you watch Hound of the Baskervilles for him to explain it away because it's Sherlock Holmes. And I think there was the same thing for me here, that I was waiting. And it was alluded to at one point that the doctor turned himself into a werewolf. It wasn't that what Lamont said to him? Like, you're a guy that's becoming a wolf or something like that. Was that not said?
He outright accuses him of being a werewolf.
But
the doctor turns the tables on the usual scenario, and he's telling the Shadow, don't be ridiculous.
Right.
Superstitious nonsense.
Just that sliver of similarity to Hound of the Baskerville, but the idea that, oh, it's an actual dog. Oh, nice. That makes me very happy.
Always a joy to me in any sort of monster sort of scenario like this, where they say, like, it's a vampire, it's a werewolf. Don't be ridiculous. You must be crazy. We absolutely reject the possibility of this, despite the overwhelming amount of evidence we're looking at.
Right.
To run the range from, that seems unlikely, but we'll run with that theory, to, like, sure, sounds like a werewolf.
We have done Halloween specials or themed things in the past 56 years of this podcast. And I remember vividly looking for a really good werewolf episode, and always coming up like W is for werewolf. That was terrible. And the Dragnet werewolf turns out wasn't about a werewolf at all. And all of these werewolves. I am so mad that it took us this long to find a really good werewolf story. Where has this been for the last 7 years?
There are very few legitimate werewolf old-time radio productions. Almost all of them turn out to be some kind of hoax.
Unlike some of the sibling monsters, werewolves don't have the one definitive story to adapt.
Right.
Like the one classic example of this monster.
I'm just shocked this one got by us for this long. Now, when you found this, had you heard it before?
No.
So this was new to you, too.
Yeah, I think because it doesn't have werewolf or anything in the title. I had to dig really deep.
How did you
to
find it?
I found some guy's blog who was going over
some guy
werewolf stories in old-time radio, and which ones...
Someguysblog.com? I love that.
I'm sorry if you listen to this podcast and I could have this great moment to plug your blog, but he actually went through and listed a bunch of old-time radio shows that have werewolves, which ones are a creature that's like a werewolf, like the House in Cypress Canyon, and how many of them are hoaxes.
Yep.
There are a number, at least 2 or 3 episodes of Escape that involve werewolf mythology, but it's not quite a full werewolf. And then this was listed with a number of Shadow episodes.
I want to make a rule that we no longer allowed to say plug your blog. That sounded horrifying.
We can promote your content.
But what if your blog is leaking?
Well, you should see a doctor. So overall, I think that what you're getting at when you were saying, I want to find something that has these elements to it, a twist on the Shadow that's away from the normal formulaic. It's the idea that Margo turns on him. Is that the thing that you were more attracted to?
No, well, first of all, it was just the werewolf and the fact that it's
very
clearly a werewolf.
Right.
The Shadow says it's a werewolf, and I think you're supposed to agree with the Shadow.
Right.
He is the authorial voice, the disembodied authorial voice. And then I got into it, and you just beat me to part two. It's like, oh, this is the episode in which, under the control of another man, Margo finally gets to tell the other man she's usually under the control of what she really thinks of him.
The punchline at the very end is like, he's got Margo to shake off this guy's not in control so he could reestablish his own.
Yeah, Margo seems to be attracted to a type.
I mean, I think you could have nerdy fun rewriting this as a story in which it's finally revealed that the Shadow has Margo under her control and that the doctor is in earnest when he says, I don't think you're well. You look tired. Are you not feeling well? And he has actually freed her from the evil Shadow's control.
Or even the sketch of two hypnotists and one person in the middle constantly pulling this person back and forth between their control.
Yeah, so she has zero agency in here, yet you still get the cathartic experience of having her just tell Lamont where to go. And laugh in his face.
Someone leaped to the chewy meat of this episode, that having Margo not like turn like I'm going to poison him in his sleep, but that's not how you poison people, but just to turn on him like, yeah, I left, I didn't tell you. I don't need to tell you when I go. To just assert agency, and that it is so plausible that someone would just say like, I left, I didn't tell anybody, I don't have to.
Yeah, it starts so really mundane, and she's absolutely correct. In that moment, you wouldn't go, you're under some evil spell.
Yes.
Well,
I mean, as much as that might be what's in his head, it was like, something's gone really wrong here, but he can't retort. I mean, he can't respond like that.
And the structure of the story is so nicely done, because you get the scene where it's clearly the evil mustache twirling hypnotist.
Just a wandering doctor going door to door trying to make appointments with people. Like, this service here is really upsetting.
But it's very clear he's an evil guy. He now has Margo under his control. And then we cut to these desperate scenes of Lamont organizing searches, and they can't find her anywhere. And then it's just such a mild-mannered rebuke of him that is totally reasonable. And so it's like, oh, that's really cool. And I was hoping it literally was that Margo had shrugged off the hypnotism and was now like, I actually really like this spa.
It's a mental institution, but it's really helping.
There's no one else who's staying here at the moment, so I have
speaks
all the saunas to myself.
Speaks volumes about their established relationship, that she's just goes somewhere without telling him, and he's automatically assumes something's wrong. Like that she's checking in that much, or that she's needs to be that much under his control or guidance.
In all fairness, there are hundreds and hundreds of episodes that support his theory that she has probably been kidnapped.
Yeah, he's got a type 2, I think.
Right.
I wanted to back up to just the very, very top, that this, unlike, I think, many Shadow episodes, I don't know, but has that classic horror structure of, we're going to see this monster kill some strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so visceral.
Yeah.
It's so nasty.
I agree. My notes say that it's just brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And the sound design's really good. Sometimes with these werewolves, you get this kind of silly.
That was really good, Joshua.
He's a werewolf.
No, I want you guys to come to my sanatorium.
The top is a great introduction to this piece. The people that we don't know.
Those performances, it's just Ugh.
This is hard to do sometimes with these kind of creature sounds, but the sound effects transmit the visual information of the size and strength of this werewolf.
Right.
It is clearly not a dog.
Right.
It's clearly not even a wolf. It's
And you
something massive.
It's a horse.
Strong. Yes.
And in the
it's a
performance
giraffe.
of
is
the
what I'm saying.
reaction, you get that vocalization that it's not just, it's like I'm being thrown around.
I'm being torn apart.
Yeah.
Right. Pre-Wilhelm
Yes.
screaming.
Yeah, and then there is a really nice transition from all that screaming and snarling to Lamont just in a very light and casual manner going, "Oh, Margo, look at that moon."
Yeah.
The doctor does have either the best or worst pickup line ever when he shows up at the door and says, "I saw you skiing today, and I wondered if you had sustained any cuts or bruises that needed attention."
What if that's how it worked?
Like accident lawyers just out looking for people who.
Doctor's just looking at you. You okay? You doing okay? Just walking up and down the street like people handing out flyers at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
I'm afraid they'd end up at restaurants just going, "You sure you should eat that?"
Right. Or eat that so that I may save you.
Don't send that back. It's fine.
Oh, speaking of continuity, that was the other thing that I thought was interesting. If you're ever in a shadow trivia contest, remember that Margo is 5 feet 5 inches tall and 118 pounds.
Wow.
Yep. I think weight.
Almost one of those.
Right. You invert a few of those numbers. If you give me the weight of somebody, the height, hair color, there's things, I get it. Oh, if I see that person. But weight wouldn't mean anything to me. You know what I mean? Like to give her weight out is like, oh, yeah, that's close. But she looks 125. Like, like unless you're a professional carnival weight guesser, that would not play in.
Well, it's interesting because I think it also informs a little of Lamont's, a.k.a. the Shadow's personality, this sort of obsessive knowledge of her exact height and weight.
Right.
I'm surprised he didn't give out her measurements.
Well, again, he might just have some missing posters pre-made wherever he goes.
Margo, not only did you wander off without telling me where you're going, but you weighed in at 119 today.
She locks him in a closet. That's just was so joyful.
Got him. And then laughed. Yeah, I love that moment a lot.
But as cathartic as those elements are, another really interesting thing about this episode to me is that there are some strange adult implications in here, particularly when the Shadow is talking to the maid,
French,
who he is saying, "Ooh, I think Margo has supplanted you." There's this suggestion of combining romance and hypnotism, which a lot of these monsters and vampire stories do, of overpowering someone's will. But then when you combine it with the eerie image of the farmer seeing Margo running through the woods with a giant hairy dog running at her side, that just sort of has this very physical
and right before
implication.
we see her again and she's fine and happy.
And the Shadow seems to use that romantic wedge to get the information he wants
And doom her to death.
And doom her to death. But yeah, I thought that was uncharacteristically adult for the Shadow.
I love this kind of ending of like, we killed the wolf. And I bet the doctor's not going to show up again if it's definitive. But unlike much other Shadow carnage, like, I'm not in any trouble. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, the Shadow can't be held accountable for much in here, other than his lifelong hypnotism of Margo.
Yes.
Right.
And his request to, like, you should call the police if you can.
Although I assume that Lamont is pretty confident that the doctor is the werewolf and that he's really dead because when Margo comes out of the hypnotism, she calls him Lamont in front of the hypnotist.
Right.
So at that point, I was like, ooh, the Shadow's going to have to kill this sucker.
Yes.
She just gave away his true identity.
Hi, Lamont. Oh, my God. Well,
you said it.
You said Lamont, and that guy was standing there.
I don't know why you're so mad at that guy. You made me kill him.
It's on you, Margo.
You got any scrapes or bruises that I could take care of?
Well, I got a blog you could plug.
All right, guys, should we vote?
Yeah. It's not a classic for me, but it was fantastic. I will say this, it's the best old-time radio werewolf story I've ever heard. Top-notch fun and a great Halloween episode. I think it was scary and suspenseful and cool. If I have one minor complaint, I would have liked to have been kept in suspense as the listener as to why Margo was acting the way she was for longer. Like, to be really confused by that instead of knowing, well, she's under the spell of this guy and that's why she's doing it. I would have liked to have not known that. So I'd be like, wow, this is what's going on, and then have a reveal of that a little bit.
I would have been so disappointed to find out that wasn't Margo actually telling the shadow to screw off. I'm glad they let me down easy.
Stands the test of time. Really good.
Yeah, almost exactly the same. This is a great Halloween episode. It's a really great shadow episode.
Yeah.
I would put this near the top of, I've never heard the shadow. What's it like? Like, this is a great example. And it's really good. And it's also not like a bunch of others because that's what the shadow's like.
Right.
Again, I don't know that I would call it a classic because inherently for more genre things, we give them less credence, which is sad. But I suppose storytelling-wise, its stakes aren't as high as some other classic episodes. But yes, loved it. Great.
Yeah, I like it because I think you said this, Tim, but it fulfills all the typical shadow requirements. Structurally, it's very typical. Lamont and Margo on vacation, and there's a madman loose doing terrible things, and they must bring him to justice. I mean, that's hundreds of episodes of The Shadow, but it's all those little details, both in the story and the production, that elevate it. The unexpected details of the legitimacy of the werewolf, as in he's a real werewolf. His actions are not legitimate.
I have a degree.
As we already mentioned, the cathartic nature of Margo pushing back on Lamont, whether under hypnosis or not, and the sound effects. Yep. And a great pace.
Yeah.
Like Tim says, perhaps too much of an outlier, maybe, to call it classic. It's up there for the shadows I've heard, though. And it is a great Halloween episode, not to pat myself on the back, and a particular treat for the shadow nerds out there. Yeah.
I'm going to pat you on your back.
And plug
the plug.
Yes. Hey, me, tell them stuff.
Wow, that's a first.
Please go visit ghoulishdelights.com, home of this podcast. I'm plugging my blog. You can also find other episodes there. You can leave comments. You can send us messages. You can vote in polls. Let us know what you think of these episodes. You can link to our social media pages. You can go to our Threadless store and buy some swag. You can also join our Patreon page.
Yes, go to patreon.com/themorals and support this podcast. We greatly appreciate it. We have a number of exciting extra types of content available on the Patreon site. One of particular holiday interest is we are currently working our way through the 1938 Australian Frankenstein serial in our Patreon-only podcast, Cliffhangers of Doom. So if that sounds fun, you should become a Patreon member right now and give it a listen.
And the Mysterious Old Radio Listening Society, also, in addition to this podcast, is a theater group that does performances of classic old-time radio dramas and a lot of our own original work. We've been performing monthly somewhere for almost over 6 years. As of right now, you can see us performing twice a month. To see where we're performing and what we're performing every month, just go to ghoulishdelights.com or mysteriousOldRadioListeningSociety.com to see what we're performing and where we are and how to get tickets. If you can't come see us live, if you're a Patreon, we film all of our performances and we post them for you. So even if you live next door to the place that we're performing and you're like, nah, I'm not walking over there for those guys, you can still watch it in the comfort of your own home. So come have dinner and see us perform if you're in the Twin Cities area. We'd love to have you. Hey, what's coming up next?
Up next, I'm making a contribution to Monsters on the Air for this month-long Halloween series, an episode of The Mysterious Traveler called No Grave Can Hold Me. Until then.
Look out!
Come on, faster. He's gaining on us.
Well, we're going as fast as we can.
He's right behind us now.
Here, take the reins, Anna. I'll deal with him.
It's too late, Johnny's right beside us. He's going to leave.